So thank you, everyone. I really have mine is a real introductory talk, really to try to hopefully stimulate conversation and discussion about ways that our associations can work together. So it's called my talk is called How Can the IHPBA and SAGES Work Together to Improve HPB Training Globally? And so there may be some of you here, this is my disclosure statement, there's nothing relevant. I just want to give you an introduction a little bit about the International Hepatopancreatibility Association. So it is an old organization, initially started as the International Biliary Association in 1978, and then it consolidated several organizations in 1994 to become to the International Hepatopancreatibility Association, which is the IHPBA. And those of you who have some free time in the next 2 weeks can come to our World Congress, which is in New York at the end of March. So, but the mission statement of the IHPBA is that it really is to improve the evidence-based care and to try to optimize patients with biliary tract and pancreatic diseases. And really it tries to do this by disseminating best quality research and treatment best practices, by advancing training, and that's I think what we hope to talk about today a little bit, fostering research innovation as well as new techniques, and to encourage multidisciplinary collaboration, both with other surgeons, but also with hepatologists, with other subspecialties. And just, it has about 4,000, so just under 4,000 members, actually 3,959, if you really want the exact number. It's a middle-aged organization, so about 60% of our group is under 45, but the dominant number are under 60. And it is a subspecialty organization in the way that it really focuses on diseases of the liver, pancreas, and bile duct. Though it does cover many disease states, so it does a lot of inflammatory, benign disease, as well as oncology, as well as has a big presence in liver transplantation. And that one of the unique features, and I think one of the strengths of the IHPBA, is that it has a significant global presence. So that if you look at the pie chart there, although it was started in North America, about 40% of the members are North American, you can see that actually almost 30% of the membership and are very active are from Asia Pacific, and 30% are from Europe and Middle East and Africa. So there really is the opportunity for a real true global organization, as a lot of the disease presence is also global in nature. And the low and middle income countries are well represented both in the leadership, in the membership, and the disease processes in the IHPBA. And I would say that's one of the unique aspects of that organization. I'm actually not going to talk about SAGES. Everybody knows what SAGES is, particularly this is our annual meeting. But just remember, it's primarily North American in focus, though it does have outreach in other areas. It is really focuses on minimally invasive and minimally invasive technology, as well as newer innovative technologies. It's multi-organ as well as multi-disease in its breadth. And it has a very wide breadth and reach in both community surgeons, academic surgeons, as well as subspecialty. There's wide and deep engagement with all of those communities with SAGES. And I think that's really one of the strengths of SAGES. I think the other strength of SAGES is that it really has done an amazing job with outreach. So everyone is familiar with these terrific outreach programs from SAGES, including FLS, the fundamentals of endoscopic surgery, and fundamentals of surgical energy. And in fact, one of the keystone, I think the capstone projects with SAGES is the Safe Cholecystectomy Program. And this is actually a place where the IHPBA and SAGES has actually collaborated successfully and really developing multi-society practice guidelines focusing on really the safety of cholecystectomy, which has been rolled out both nationally but also globally. And so really the opportunities, where do we go from here as collaborating societies? So how can we work together? And I'm really going to talk about MIS surgery. And certainly there's other innovation that we can talk about, but the story, I think, of MIS surgery in HPB is that I don't want to say we have slow uptake, but I would definitely say that in the HPB community there is slower uptake than there has been in other specialties. And one of the stories I would say is that for some of us who do liver surgery, maybe it was a bit too slow, right, within the IHPBA and the organization which called the International Laparoscopic Liver Society that some of us are involved in, really felt that there needed to be some impetus and drive in terms of pushing laparoscopic liver surgery together. And so that organization has been successful at running programs and really developing guidelines and really helping push and implement laparoscopic and minimally invasive liver surgery worldwide. But that really wasn't done under the auspices of the IHPBA. And I do think the IHPBA did learn from that, and I think as minimally invasive pancreatic surgery has come on board, it's really tried to steward and shepherd that as well. And so the International Consortium of Minimally Invasive Pancreas Surgery, which is called IMIPS, is an organization that really has had good and integrated engagement with the IHPBA. Really started as a European registry for minimally invasive surgery, and the goal is to push forward with an Asia Pacific as well as an American registry at minimally invasive pancreatectomy. And many of the members of SAGES, of the AHPBA, and uniquely of the IHPBA have been organized. I see one of the founding members here as well. So in terms of that, but certainly the IHPBA, I think, really recognized that they need to embrace the technology, foster it within the society, and try specifically to make sure that its membership is involved. And I really think there's a tremendous inflection point probably in the last 3 to 5 years in terms of MIS uptake for HPB surgeons. We're seeing minimally invasive donor hepatectomies, a lot of surgery. So really the time is now. So, just as an example, if you look at distal pancreatectomies, and this is a study from 2019, they actually did a survey in 2017. This is what was happening. Just under 800 people, surgeons responded. You can see that North America and Canada has been pretty good implementation of distal pancreatectomies. About 60% of people do them sometimes or frequently, and only 12% of them never do it. But really the issue is that if you look globally, particularly if you look at Europe and Africa and in Asia, you can see that almost a third of surgeons never do it in Europe. And in Asia, that less than half of the surgeons are doing it either occasionally, sometimes or frequently. So I think this is the opportunity for SAGES to become involved and work together with the IHPBA to try to ramp that up. So I really just want to end my little talk by saying that I think that these two societies can continue to work together. I think the opportunity is now. I really think there's a tremendous way that we can leverage the strength of both of these organizations together to get a better training and a better outreach and implementation of safe, minimally invasive pancreatectomy and hepatectomy globally. The IHPBA, I think the strengths are that there's a really significant global focus. There's substantial engagement of low and middle income countries, which I think is really keen to learn. And I think also it's a very focused disease site, relatively focused number of operations where we make a big impact. I think for SAGES, the big strength is that there has been a tremendous focus on safety with FLS, with safe cholecystectomy. I think we've done a really amazing job with that. Also, I think SAGES has done a very good job with outreach, particularly with community surgeons, grassroots surgeons, things I think the IHPBA has been less successful at doing. And also that SAGES has really well-established training modules like FLS that could work as a template for our groups to work together. And I think that's what I just wanted to leave everyone with, that sort of idea before we start. And if there's any questions, I think we'll save them to the end of the session. Does that make sense, Kevin? Yep. Great. Thank you, everyone.